Now, children. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it might go well with you, and you might live long in the land. It's the first of the 10 commandments that had a promise that went with it. A happy life. And fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. You know, when fathers make mistakes or misjudge children or do something, treat them unjustly, they know it. They might not understand everything, but little children have a good sense of things when they're being treated badly. And they also know it when they're being treated right, even if it hurts. They know. Don't provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Society doesn't permit slavery anymore. But up until 150 years ago, it did, all over the world. The American form of it was especially brutal and heinous. But there were slaves all over the world throughout history. That was just a part of culture. So we look at this and say, okay, let's look at this like employers and employees then. That's the closest thing we have to it now. Slaves, submit to your human masters with fear and trembling, with sincerity of heart, as to Christ. Do your work as to the Lord, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as slaves of Christ, gladly doing the will of God, rendering service with good will as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that whatever good thing any man does, whether slave or free, he will receive the same from the Lord. That's a big statement. Whatever good thing. Whoever did that good thing of turning in Doris's lost phone is going to receive the same from the Lord. It was a good thing. Whatever good thing. Well, doesn't that make you want to do as much good as you can? Do many good things so you receive the same from the Lord? And masters, employers, in your dealings with them, leave off threatening. For you know that their master and yours is in heaven. And there is no respect of persons with him. It doesn't matter to him if you're a master or a slave. He's going to judge you. Then to everybody, Paul adds this. Finally, my brothers, be strong in the Lord and live in the might of his strength. Put on the whole armor of God so that you will be able to stand against the machinations of the accuser, the crafty designs. For our struggle is not with blood and flesh, but with the authorities, the powers, the dark world rulers of this age, and with the evil spirits among heavenly beings. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you might be able to withstand them in the evil time. And when you have done everything, to stand. Stand, therefore. You know, he's suggesting a whole lot. These people understood spiritual beings. They understood the culture of gods minor gods and then the big gods. They knew that there were spiritual beings out there, and they knew what Paul taught, no doubt, because he'd been there, that what the gods that the Gentiles served were demons. And demons were bad. They knew all that. So when Paul is they knew that those spiritual powers had more powers than humans had. So when Paul is telling them to take up the whole armor of God, it was to do warfare with beings that have more power than you have. And without the armor of God, you have no hope of winning the battle. He's reminding them of the power of the armor of God.
Amen.
You're safe with God's armor on. You are going to win with God's equipment. There is a warfare with invisible beings, and we're in that warfare right now. These people are finished with it, but God's armor is still available. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you might be able to withstand them in the evil time. And when you have done everything, to stand. Stand, therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. That's something they can't do anything about.
No.
And putting on the breastplate of righteousness. They don't even know how to deal with that. And having your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. There are things you can do. Prepare. Glory to God. And above all things, taking up the shield of faith. That's what I was talking about Wednesday night. All things work together for the good of those who love God and are the called according to His purpose. Take up that shield of faith. It'll quench every fiery arrow shot by the devil. Take up the shield of faith by which you will be able to quench all the flaming arrows of the all the flaming arrows. They hit that shield of faith, those fiery burning arrows go like throwing them in a pond. Puts them right out.
Yep, sure does.
And take on the helmet of salvation. He called it the helmet. Take on as a helmet the hope of salvation when he wrote this to the Thessalonians. That's what he's talking about. Put on that hope of salvation. You know what? When you put on the helmet of salvation, what happens? You start thinking right.
Yeah.
Oh, faith in God. Yes.